What's going on, Bengals fans? Stone Shields on hand for another edition of Bengals Breakdown. Make sure you guys hit that thumbs up icon for us if you have not done so already. Our Browns Report host, Matthew Peterson, we call him Petey here at Chat Sports, bet we couldn't get 500 likes on today's show. He's a Browns host. We don't like the Cleveland Browns here. Let's prove him wrong. Hit that thumbs up icon and let's blow that 500 number out of the water. All right, here's what is on tap today here at Bengals Breakdown. Kelsey Conway, who of course does a tremendous job covering the Cincinnati Bengals for the Enquirer, is down in Mobile, Alabama right now for the Senior Bowl, and she had an opportunity to talk with Duke Tobin, who of course is the Bengals de facto general manager, technically the director of player personnel, but basically their general manager. He had some interesting comments in regards to Trey Hendrickson, Ja'Marr Chase, and their contracts and future with the Cincinnati Bengals. We're going to be diving into that here on today's edition of Bengals Breakdown. Let's start with Trey Hendrickson. Hendrickson, of course, is entering the final year of his contract and is set to make $15.8 million next season. And Trey Hendrickson obviously is one of the stars of your football team. You look at Joe Burrow, you look at Ja'Marr Chase, T. Higgins, your next dog is Trey Hendrickson. And he really was able to make his presence felt this season, having those 17.5 sacks, which of course led the National Football League. And it's rare for a player of his caliber to go into a season on an expiring contract. And I think he certainly is looking for an extension. If you remember last offseason, he actually requested a trade from the Cincinnati Bengals because he wasn't able to get that extension last offseason. So there's going to be a lot of pressure from Hendrickson and his group, and of course the Cincinnati Bengals, to try to come to terms on a contract extension. Here's what Duke Tobin had to say in regards to Trey Hendrickson. He said, has he earned a pay raise and a bump in an extension? He has. We're cognizant of that, and we will give that to him. But whether we agree on what that looks like is what is going to be determined. We can't have guys at the top of the payroll in every position, right? We'll do what we can. We'll do what we feel is right, and we will try to get Trey re-signed. It's not giving anybody an extension. It's agreeing with somebody on an extension. Will the Bengals extend Trey Hendrickson? Let me know in the comments section. Be honest with us. Type Y for yes or N for no. If that ad comes here on YouTube, that's totally fine. Take advantage of it. Get down in the comments. Let us know what you think. And really, there is a lot to sort through here when you're talking about Trey Hendrickson and a potential contract extension with this football team. Obviously, he is going to be 30 years of age. And Cincinnati historically doesn't pay guys over the age of 30. He actually is 30 years of age at this point. So that would be pretty unprecedented for them to pay a guy that was going into that stage of his career. And Tobin's last point does make some sense. Now, at the same time, don't let him confuse you with what he is saying. For the, right when it comes out there, obviously it seems like it is unlikely that you would be able to pay Joe Burrow top-of-the-line money, Ja'Marr Chase top-of-the-line money, and Trey Hendrickson and T. Higgins. Obviously, that's kind of hard to wrap your head around at this point, but there are teams that are able to do that. You take a look at the Philadelphia Eagles. How many guys are they paying over that $20 million a year mark? Several. And I think that really kind of makes puts a lot of pressure on the Cincinnati Bengals for them to be able to make this happen, because there are other teams around the league that are doing things like this. And it's up to them to kind of change their ways and find a way where they can get a guy like Trey Hendrickson on the contract that he is seeking, because he has been such a phenomenal player for them on defense. Imagine if Cincinnati was not able to have Trey Hendrickson on their defense. They were horrible with him. He was the sack leader in the National Football League. Imagine if they did not have Trey Hendrickson out there rushing the passer. That wouldn't even have been, they wouldn't have even been able to roll a team out there on defense. They would have been just that bad. He's incredibly valuable. Let's take a look here at the top paid defensive ends per year in the NFL at this point. And pretty remarkable that Trey Hendrickson is not on this list. He certainly wants to find his way onto this list. Now, when you look at these top guys, obviously they are a lot younger than Trey Hendrickson, and that's certainly something the Bengals and Trey Hendrickson are going to have to work through. But that's crazy that he is not even in the top 10. I believe he's either 11 or 12 when it comes to how much he is making. each year at that position. And it's really up to Cincinnati to try to figure this out, because it is one of their main goals this offseason is to find a way to make Trey Hendrickson stay in Cincinnati, because he truly is a game changer and a game wrecker, and he totally changes your football team and obviously more specifically your defense. Next, we're going to spend some time talking about Ja'Marr Chase. Obviously, a very important offseason for Ja'Marr Chase as well. So that is going to be coming up around the corner. But before that, we got to give a shout out to our friends at Game Time. Today's show is presented by Game Time. Game Time is a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of different tickets. Still some tickets for the big game if you want to get down to New Orleans and check that out. Obviously, those are very, very expensive, but still a couple of those on sale with our friends over at Game Time. Check those out if you have the ability to do so. Also, of course, Red Spring Training right around the corner. That excites me very much. They've made several moves. Feels like they're going to be competent this season in 2025. My two favorite features on Game Time: the seat views. Get a panoramic view from your seat in the app before you buy with Game Time. Secondly, the all-in pricing. Toggling this feature up front allows you to see your total up front, so you don't get hit with any of those surprise fees at checkout like some of those other ticketing companies can get you with. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply, but again, create an account, redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest prices, all guaranteed. All right, now let's spend some time talking about Ja'Marr Chase here. The Bengals and Ja'Marr Chase enter another very critical offseason after failing last season to reach a contract extension, and Cincinnati's got to be just kicking themselves for that at this point. They offered him a deal, but it was not what he was looking for, and frankly, it was not what he deserved to make either. And then Ja'Marr Chase goes out there and wins the Triple Crown. So obviously the price for Ja'Marr Chase has only gone up over the course of the past year. Let's take a look at what Duke Tobin had to say to Kelsey Conway in regards to Ja'Marr Chase. Says it's a priority for us. It's something we feel like there's a framework to work off of. Should be a pretty easy framework to work off of. Guys in this position have recently redone contracts. We believe in Ja'Marr. He's very important to us. The other guys that have done contracts are very important to their teams. So we believe there's a real framework to work off of. I would expect that we could come together on something that makes sense for both sides. I have my thoughts on this in a moment, but first, an opportunity for you guys to get involved with our show here at Bengals Breakdown. What is your confidence level in the Bengals executing the Ja'Marr Chase deal? Scale it for us 1 to 10 in the comments section, 1 on the low end, 10 on the high end. Now, this framework that Tobin is talking about is, of course, Justin Jefferson and CeeDee Lamb when it comes to the wide receiver market at this point. But that was the range last year. Ja'Marr Chase went out and won the Triple Crown this past season, so that number has gone up astronomically. I wouldn't be surprised if Ja'Marr Chase is pushing that $40 million a year mark when it comes to wide receiver pay. As you can tell right here by this graphic, Justin Jefferson is the highest paid wide receiver at $35 million per year. He's certainly going to blow that out of the water. Ja'Marr Chase is going to be the highest paid non-quarterback in the history of the National Football League. It's up to Cincinnati that they get it done and get it done efficiently without having to screw around. Look, if I'm Ja'Marr Chase, I don't come near the Bengals facility until this gets worked out, right? You kind of had your, you want to call it a diva moment. I think he was probably doing the right thing holding out, right? It's unfortunate that he kind of stunk up the joint week one. Is probably a big reason why you lost that game, was because the drama that you had out there on the football field with Ja'Marr Chase having not been at training camp. But at the same time, he went out there and dominated the 2024 NFL season, winning that Triple Crown, and it wasn't even close, really, to be completely honest with you. So he proved his point out there with his performance. Now it's time for him to get his money from the Cincinnati Bengals organization. This is the second most important decision this organization has ever made in its history. The first, of course, was paying Joe Burrow. The second is paying Ja'Marr Chase. Have to find a way to get this done. He is one of the main cornerstones of your franchise, and it's really inexcusable to not get this deal done with Ja'Marr Chase. Absolutely has to get done, and it should be priority number one for this football team. All right, before we get out of here, do want to bring this up. Another tweet from Kelsey Conway. Conway says, another interesting nugget from my interview with Duke Tobin is that he revealed that he meets with Joe Burrow before every offseason gets underway and has already met with Burrow ahead of this critical offseason. Just wanted to bring this up because I think it should make us Bengals fans feel pretty good, right? Look, I definitely believe that players play, coaches coach, and front office people do front office stuff. But when you have a guy like Joe Burrow, that is on pace to be one of the greatest, if not the greatest quarterback to ever play this game if he gets some championships. Certainly could be in that category. You want to make this guy happy at all costs. Joe Burrow kind of has the on-the-field stuff mastered. Obviously, he's got to continue to do it and continue to build off it. But I think as an organization, they should let him in to the things that they are doing. He should be privy to these conversations that Duke Tobin and front office members are having. And it's good to see that they are, because the priority needs to be to make that guy right there happy at all times, right? Because as long as Joe Burrow is in the city of Cincinnati and playing quarterback for this franchise, this team always has a chance at winning a world championship. And mark my words, they will one day, so long as Joe Burrow finishes his career in Cincinnati. If he does that, there's no way that this team does not win a Super Bowl. Always have to make sure that he is happy, and if he's staying involved in these conversations, he should understand that, hey, it's going to be difficult to bring in all these guys, but hopefully Cincinnati as an organization is doing everything they can to make it happen. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button if you have not done so already, youtube.com/BengalsTV. We will have you covered all offseason long here at the channel.